stand for fantasy football franchise. Talking about that guy, Hoogie Tyler every week. Heavy analytics, competition real steep. Whoa, that's sweet. Oh, in this belief. Nick so sick, man, bringing ships the whole fleet. Goats, not sheep. Follow every tweet. Don't sleep, always finding sleepers on the street, boy. F3, winning every single league. Money back guaranteed, but it's free. Welcome to the franchise. Welcome to the franchise. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Franchise F3 Pod. My name is Sean. I'm here with my co-hosts Andrew and Joey. How are you guys doing today?
Doing very well. I'm just getting ready for a soccer game, which, as I understand it, is no longer the U.S.'s least favorite sport.
That's because we're finally good at it. But I'm doing pretty good myself. How about you, Sean?
I'm doing just fine. So before we get started here, I'm just going to say that we are pushing for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The channel is the IDP Guys. You can visit us at our websites, dynastyfootballdigest.com, idpguys.org. We have a premium subscription there, so for $1 a month you get tools, rankings, combined offensive and defensive ADP. We also have a subscriber chat there, which is pretty awesome. So all three of us are in that. All the writers across both websites are in there. So basically we're your live fantasy football companions. We basically can help you talk through whatever trades, draft decisions you're making, and we pretty much have people on there all day, every day. So with that said, we're going to be doing something a little different today. We're going to be doing a mock draft, and we're kind of just picking guys that are in the range of where they're falling according to our ADP. So I'll be picking at the 101. Andrew's going to be picking at the 106. And Joey is going to be picking at the 112, just to kind of give you an idea of all the different ranges that guys can go. So with the 101, I have the easy choice here. I'm going to be taking Saquon Barkley. So Andrew, that's going to put you up next.
Well, that's a bit of a jerk move because that's who I was going for at one.
Sorry,
no,
yeah.
The big running backs are going to be available, so I'm looking at a wide receiver. So I was tossing a couple of ideas around, Devontae, Michael Thomas, but I settled on Odell Beckham Jr.
All right. Yeah, I like that. Like that a lot. Joey, we got you at the turn.
There's some of those low-end running backs, the low top end, I guess you can say. Guys like Joe Mixon, David Johnson, and I think I'm going to go David Johnson with 12. And then I'm going to come back around and probably with the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL, I'm going to grab Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I can't believe...
Huh?
Correct me if you're wrong. If I'm wrong, you took David Johnson at the 106 in Scott Fishbowl.
I did, and I love David Johnson. The only reason it went so early there is because of settings. I think at 1-6 in a different draft setting, I might go one of the receivers, but in that draft setting, I had to go David Johnson.
Okay.
And it's paid off quite well because there's still some pretty decent options at wide receiver.
I still can't believe David Johnson is falling in that range because I think he is going to severely outplay Melvin Gordon and Joe Mixon. I think.
Agreed.
He needs to be going higher.
Yeah, you guys know I'm not a Melvin Gordon fan, really.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
Who you got next, Andrew?
So that brings me around to pick 19. And I think this is another guy that's going way too late. I think the fears are overblown. I'm going with Todd Gurley.
Nice.
I think
that's no surprise.
I would consider him, early in the second, maybe even late in the first. I can't understand how he's going in the, right next to Amari Cooper. Like there's just such a disparity in talent there.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
So coming back to me, I'm kind of in that wide receiver range. There aren't many running backs that are really worth looking at for me at the 212 and the 301. So I am going to go Keenan Allen, and then I think I'm going to take T.Y. Hilton. So I'm going back-to-back receivers there.
Nice.
Sorry, can you
All
repeat
right.
that?
Yeah, Keenan Allen and T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, Keenan Allen. Okay, good. I thought you sniped me again. Getting kind of worried over here.
At the 301, I'm going to take Barkley again.
I actually like Keenan Allen there. I think that's a good value. So that brings me back to the number 30 pick in the third round, and I decided to settle for Adam Thielen. I really, I think he is the number one wide receiver in Minnesota, and I think that with the Kubiak there as the offensive coordinator, he's going to get funneled a lot of balls. Kubiak's offense has proven it can support more than one wide receiver in the past and at a high level. So I'm pretty excited about that pick.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, Cousins' second year in the system, he's going to be a little more comfortable, and he's got two great route runners, so he's going to target Thielen a lot.
Yeah, I think Thielen was a consideration for me at the 301 too. So I think you got good value there.
Yeah, I was looking at Hilton as well. Actually, I like Brandon Cooks a little bit more than Hilton, but I decided to settle on Thielen.
Okay.
All right, so that brings me to picks 36 and 37. And looking at our ADP, I don't see any receiver who really blows my mind here. So I'm going to get another running back and go Aaron Jones with Green Bay. Matt LaFleur has been said that he wants to see Jones receiving a little more, so that'll be very nice for his productivity. And then
assuming it happens.
If it happens, yeah. I mean, as good as Jamal Williams is and Dexter Williams, I don't see any of them really outplaying Aaron Jones. Last half of the year last year, Aaron Jones was 5.8 yards per carry. As long as he stays healthy, he's a very productive running back.
I just wonder whether they're committed to using him as a workhorse back as opposed to just part of a committee.
Right.
When was the last time Green Bay actually had a workhorse back?
Eddie Lacy.
Yeah.
Would you actually consider him to be like
Ryan Grant?
That's who I was thinking of, was Ryan Grant. And
Eddie Lacy got some good production back in the day.
Yeah, I only remember Eddie Lacy as a disappointment. I guess maybe he had
his
one
first
or two
year or two, right?
Yeah, it was, I think, either his first year or his second year. I'm pulling it up now. But who's your second pick, Joey?
I'm going to go Zach Ertz. Grab my tight end there. Because Zach Ertz is dropping right around that 36 pick, so.
Yeah, I just don't like going tight end that early usually, but
I don't either. But he was, if you look at his numbers, he's like wide receiver 1 numbers. Well, last year he was. Years before, you're still getting a solid wide receiver 2 as your tight end.
I actually was looking at him as well for my 4th round pick, but he fell just a little bit too far away for me to be able to rationalize being able to select him in the 4th. So I like that value. I think that's a good pick.
So just so you guys are aware, going back to Eddie Lacy here, his rookie season, he was getting 19 carries a game, and his next year he was getting 15, and then after that he kind of tapered off a bit. He was sitting at 12.5 and 14.2, but I mean, he was getting a sizable workload most of his time in Green Bay. He just his last year he couldn't stay healthy. I mean, his last 2 years he couldn't stay healthy, but when he was healthy there, he was getting a good amount of carries.
How did he produce that first year when he's getting 19 a carry?
So his first year he went for 4.1 yards an attempt. Second year 4.6. Third year 4.1, and then 5.1 in his 5 games of 2016. So he was actually okay with the Packers. He just
Oh, he just ate too much.
That's better than I remembered. My memory has been tainted.
Yeah. All right. Did you pick Andrew, or is
I didn't. That brings me back around at the 43.
Stop rushing him. Gosh.
And I'm going to take Cooper Cup. I like Cooper
Yeah.
Cup in this range. I didn't want to go back running back yet. There's a couple guys that seem to be decent value in that range, like Derrick Henry, Darius Geis, that I like.
Goose.
But
The goose.
in terms of the wide receivers, like between Cooper and Robert Woods, I think Woods has pretty much hit his ceiling, and I think Cooper Cup is not. And I think that Woods' ceiling is below Cooper, so I think he's got some room to grow in there. Assuming he comes back from the injury, but I think I like the upside of it.
All right, then it's back to me, and I'm going to go. It's really between Geis and Jacobs here. I'm going to go Jacobs just because it's a less crowded backfield. I actually have done this pick before, and I've gone Geis, but it's a less crowded backfield, and I think that there's less concern around his health. So I'll take Jacobs there, and then I'm gonna really piss off Joey, and I'm gonna take. Actually, no, it's Andrew. I'm gonna piss off. I'm gonna take Godwin at in the 5th.
Yeah, the voodoo doll's ready. It's all right.
Excellent work. You did not snipe me this time. I was not looking at Godwin.
I know you weren't.
So for me at 54, I can't pass up Damian Williams at this point. I think there's a possibility of getting a RB1 in the 5th round. That's just that I can't let him slip any further. I think he's just too in too good of a situation. It doesn't even have anything really to do with his talent. It's just that he's the incumbent, and I think I don't think there's anybody that's gonna take it from him.
Yeah, I can totally see that. That's a good call. All right, so that brings me to 60 and 61. That's debatable.
Very debatable.
Come on, no, it's my. We're not even gonna get into it. It's the grammar, sir. I'm gonna go David Montgomery with number 6 with my 60th pick, or number 60. I apologize. And then after that, I think I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers. Grab my QB.
All right, back to you, Andrew.
I actually was looking at possibly taking Rodgers, but a little bit later. I wasn't going to take him that early. I think that's a bit of a reach.
Give me a reach.
So I'm actually going to take Russell Wilson with this pick, and I think he's ranked higher, and I think I'm getting him later than you. So I'm very happy with that.
All right, then let's see. I'm gonna take at the 5-1. I'm gonna take my tight end, Hunter Henry.
Okay.
And then and that's why I prefer to wait on Ertz, because I don't think the round difference is that great, or the value difference is that great.
Why are you using your 5-1 6th round?
What?
Using your 5-1 in the 6th round.
Whatever. I'm doing Joey math here. And then
Man, the math again.
Yeah, just turn it on Joey.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna take Dante
the stupid
Pettis.
one.
Because I think taking Dante Pettis, I end up with Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, Chris Godwin, Dante Pettis. I think that's a really good young core of receivers.
I don't think you should take Pettis. I don't think you should pass on him.
I'm not going to do that, though.
I think you should do that.
All right, back to you, Andrew.
I'm going to round my team out with my tight end and taking Hunter Henry.
No, you aren't, because I just did.
Man, weren't you paying attention?
Oh, my goodness. I only heard Pettis.
Gee, golly
Josh took Hunter Henry. I tuned you out. All right. Well done. We're back to the drawing board. And
here at the F3 pod, we tune out our hosts.
And I guess that means that I get stuck with Jeopardy music, please. David Njoku.
Yay.
Joke who?
I should have taken Henry first and waited on Russ.
That's why I went Ertz early. So,
Sup. All right.
all right. So pick number
got?
84. I'm going Julian Edelman. And then 85. It's kind of tough. I need another receiver.
Dante Pettis is.
Yeah,
not
he
a-
would have been phenomenal. Yeah, that would have been great. It's exactly what I was looking for. I guess I'm going to go Robbie Anderson.
Is Saquon Barkley still available?
You're taking Robbie Anderson?
You know what? I like Robbie Anderson.
Oh, man.
Say what you
This-
will.
I will. We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk. All right. Then for my last pick, I'm Cam Newton. That's why I wait on quarterbacks.
Yeah. I probably should have waited on a quarterback a little more, but I like Aaron Rodgers where he was. I think he's gonna have a bounce back here.
Yeah, I feel like the gap between Rodgers and Cam isn't that great. You still
Right.
got Goff and Rick down there too. So all right, so we have the mock draft in the books here, and we are going to take a little bit of time and just kind of talk about our team and the strategy that we chose to use in this particular mock draft. So one of you guys want to kick us off here?
Do it, Joe.
All right. I was at the end of the first round, so I had the 12-13 turn. I went David Johnson. I think he's got potential to be top 3 running back this year. I mean, obviously you have your power 4, but if you look back, what was it, 2 years ago? David Johnson was the RB1, like undoubtedly RB1. So getting him at the end of the first, I'll take it. Mike Evans, as I said before, he's probably the most underrated wide receiver in football. He never gets any love, and you very rarely even see him in the first round. And here, I was able to get him in the second round. But he's got Bruce Arians coming in. Winston's going to get the green light to just chuck the football. And I think first pick in the second round is great value for Mike Evans.
You at all worried that Godwin's going to overtake him?
Not at all. I got the voodoo doll, bro. All it takes is one pin to the knee, and he's down for the season. No more Sean.
Wait, I'm confused. Is it a doll of Godwin's or a doll of Sean?
Both.
Both.
No,
He's
it's
selling both.
I take Sean's soul through his players.
Okay. Yeah, that's the best way to get at me, to be honest. I don't need my knees. I need my fantasy football team.
God.
Wait, when did Sean get a soul?
That's also a good point.
It's his football soul.
It's better than a regular soul.
It is, especially in his eyes.
All right.
Yeah. So then third round, I went Aaron Jones. As I said, they're hoping to get him more involved as the receiving back in Green Bay. I think honestly, in that position, it depends more on Aaron Rodgers than the offensive coordinator. But I don't know. Aaron Jones averaged 5.8 yards per carry the last half of last season. So when he's healthy, he's incredibly productive. And then right after him, first pick in the fourth round, I grabbed Zach Ertz. I think he's great value in the fourth round. He's part of that top 3 tight end tier. Last year, what was he? He was like 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. He had 116 receptions. So, and especially in PPR, that's top notch. Then
Does anybody play standard anymore?
No,
Like, it shouldn't even be called standard.
I have a home league. It's bad. I've been trying to get them to switch for years.
I would have quit by now. I don't care if they're my friends. They're not my friends anymore.
it's grow up with me. Then fifth round, I grabbed my third running back in David Montgomery. I picked him landing in Chicago pre-draft. I thought the landing spot was great, and I was a fan of him coming out of college. I just think he's should have a very productive rookie year. I think they're still going to focus running the ball more in Chicago, and I don't see Cohen his role changing at all from what it was last year. So I still think that David Montgomery can have upwards over 230 carries, 200 carries. Then right after that, I decided to go reach a little bit, but grab Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have himself a nice bounce back year. Obviously, he loves Devontae Adams. Jimmy Graham says he's focused on having a better year. Last year was a real down year for him. They went and picked up Jimmy Graham's replacement in Sternberger, which I think he can have some sort of an impact this year for Green Bay. And then, I mean, the receivers outside of Adams are kind of murky, but he's found a little bit of trust in both Geronimo Allison and Valdez-Scantling. So I'll take that.
Is Jace going to open up a Sternberger's franchise next to Ed Oliver Garden?
I think they've been talking about open up a chain, like, you know how Pizza Hut and Taco Bell used to have?
I think they still do in some places. They just kind of link up.
So unfortunate.
Wait, what were the two franchises?
Pizza Hut and
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Really? In Canada, every Taco Bell has a KFC.
Yeah, we have that too.
Okay.
So I think they're all. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. All right, let's move on to your worst pick of the draft.
Oh, not yet. Okay, not yet. Pick number 84. So it was the seventh round, end of the seventh. I went Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman almost had 1,000 yards last season. He missed the first 4 games. He averages over 10 targets per game, I believe, and Brady obviously has trust in him. And then we can move on to my obvious worst pick of the draft, Robbie Anderson. I planned the whole time that Dante Pettis would be here, which is why I jumped on David Montgomery, and then Sean had to throw a monkey wrench in my entire draft. Kind of got to get a little lost, but I was trying to see which wide receiver was available, and I went Robbie Anderson. He's got an up-and-coming quarterback. I mean, Darnold's second year in an offense. He should show some improvement. He averages 15 yards per reception, and he still gets targeted over 100 times per season. So, I mean, as a wide receiver 3, I'm not too upset with that. He's the kind of guy who can get you that big play, and I think it's okay for a wide receiver 3.
Just curious, Robbie Anderson, where was his ADP when you grabbed him there?
I was like 100 something.
Yeah, and that's really what it is like you could have gotten him as your wide receiver 4 or 5 and potentially had wide receiver 3 upside, but
but in this situation I probably would have waited and kept going with like another tight end or running back, but in this situation we were only going for a starting lineup, so
yeah,
I had to grab another receiver.
All right, Andrew, you want to tell us about your team?
Yeah, for sure. It's a little bit of a departure for me. It's not usually my strategy to go wide receiver in the first round. So taking OBJ, I really like his situation. I love his talent. I think he could just absolutely blow up this year, which I don't know. Can a player that's already shown his potential blow up again? Like, I don't know. I just like the relationship that he's gonna hopefully develop with Mayfield, and I like Kitchens as a coach. So I think that's a great spot for him. Gurley, I love that he fell to me there. I'm not gonna lie, there is some uncertainty there. So having him as your RB1, there's risk associated with it. But I'm not one of these people that's panicking about it. I think like some other people are. So I'm pretty excited about that pick as well. Thielen, I don't. I think it's a safe pick. I don't think it's a league-winning pick. I think he's right around where he should be picked, and I think he's gonna have a good season. Hopefully, he's got the upside to have a great season. But again, with him and Kupp, the next pick, I think those are two guys that are possession receivers. Are going to get a lot of receptions. They're going to catch a lot of balls. So, they might not have huge touchdown numbers. They might not have huge yards per reception numbers, but hopefully they'll get a lot of catches. And then in the 5th with Damian Williams, again, I'm a pretty big fan of Damian Williams. I believe in him. I think that his skill set suits the role that they have him set up for, and I think that he's gonna produce. I'm not gonna lie, having Gurley and Williams as my two RBs, there's a lot of risk associated with that, but there's also, I think, the potential for a huge payoff. So it's maybe a bit of a risk reward situation that I'm set myself up for. The Russell Wilson pick, I was not necessarily prepared to make that pick. Joey threw me for a loop, and then you, Sean, threw me for a second loop. I was all set to go with Hunter Henry and then Aaron Rodgers. So Joey's Rodgers pick had me pivot off of Rodgers, and I pivoted to Wilson. Probably again should have waited and taken Wilson with the next pick, because as it turns out, Hunter Henry would not be available for the next pick. So I don't know. I like Wilson though. He's a guy that I've aligned myself with in a few different leagues. I don't love the offense that he's in, because I think they want to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. But despite that, he still was able to put up reasonably good numbers last year. And the only thing that needs to happen is for their defense to fall apart, for him to have to put up even better numbers, right? He has finished as QB1 in the past, so he's got the potential to do it again theoretically. So pivoting off of Hunter Henry, Tyler Boyd was the best player available. Again, I think he's a guy that's got potential to be a high volume receiver playing in the slot. I do like AJ Green a lot, but I think he's certainly on the down slope of his career. And Tyler Boyd played really well last year with and without him. I think he had a little more success with AJ Green in the lineup, but he still played well without him. So I think beyond this year, Tyler Boyd's still going to have value. And then my worst pick of the draft.
Just so depressed getting to the end of the draft. You just hear the life coming out of him.
Well, if you get an opportunity to stack two pass catchers on the same team, you really got to go for it, right? So pairing OBJ with David Njoku was just the highlight of my draft. I was looking hard at Ertz early on. I was excited for Henry. And I settled for Njoku. At this point, I'm gonna have to draft another tight end at some point, because I don't think he's gonna be the answer. I think there's probably gonna be a couple guys in that range that have similar, if not better upside. But Njoku's just the guy that I settled on. That's not a league winning pick. That's a ho hum. What about you, Sean? How do you feel?
I feel like I have Andrew's dream team here, because I just sniped him on every single pick. So I'm looking at it, and the 101, Barkley's kind of a no-brainer. Like, if you have the 101, you're either taking Barkley or you're trading it to somebody so that they can take Barkley. I don't think it's really going any other direction. Coming around to the second and third round, Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton at the turn. These first three rounds here, this is exactly what I did in another draft where I had the 101. Just because, like, I generally try and take a wide receiver in the first round, and in startups at least, for Dynasty, because I tend to try and piece together running backs the first year and then use my picks on running backs from there on out, basically. Because I love getting the rookie running backs and having the staples at wide receiver, because wide receivers just have more longevity and they're a lot more predictable from year to year than running backs. So then I had to come back and grab my second running back, and I was kind of looking at Geis and Jacobs, and I don't know, Damian Williams was in the mix here, but I definitely feel better. Yeah, thank you for the correction.
You're welcome.
Darius Goose was definitely in the mix here. I feel better about those two than Damian Williams. We'll talk about him a little later here, but yeah, I don't know. I feel good about Jacobs' workload and feel good about him being the workhorse in that offense. And then Chris Godwin is obviously getting a ton of hype. you've been able to get him later than this before, you really can't anymore. And I'm a big fan of his, so I just jumped on that. And then at the next turn, I took Dante Pettis and Hunter Henry, sniping both of my co-hosts here. And Pettis is someone I'm a huge fan of. I think that taking Barkley at the 101 kind of forced me to do some different things at receiver. So having Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, Chris Godwin, and Dante Pettis gives me a really nice young core of receivers. I feel really good about that. And then the reason that I don't go for the Kelsey, Ertz, and Kittles of the world is because I like that next tier of tight ends, the Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, OJ Howard, David Njoku. I really like that range. And I got my... Yeah, I'm not trading with you ever. But yeah, I'm really happy ending up with Henry. Njoku was really the only other option in this range, and I was definitely happy to get Henry over Njoku, just as Andrew seems to feel. And then the reason I wait on quarterbacks is because then we come back and I'm looking at Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins, and I just kind of took my choice of them, and I took Cam Newton in this range. I feel pretty good about that. Normally in a draft, I would have skipped quarterback here and taken what was left of that tier and tried to grab, another running back, another wide receiver, something there. But all right, we'll be back to talk about each other's drafts and tear them apart and tell everyone how terrible they are.
Fun.
All right, we're back, and Joey and Andrew are gonna take their turn, just trying to tear apart my team and or praise it, because I know that's what they really want to do. They just can't bring themselves to do it.
That's fun.
You should have traded out of the 101. that was a mistake.
I should have just waited and taken Barkley at 6.
I agree there.
Ideally. No, there's not a whole lot you can say about like the undisputed 101. So we'll skip past that. Joey? What do you think about the wide receivers back to back at the turn?
I actually like the Keenan Allen Ty pick. I think that's actually a really good way to start your wide receiver core, especially if you go Barkley first. I think Allen's always a great second round pick. Ty I feel like undervalued a lot, but I don't know. I think second and third's pretty spot on for Allen and Hilton. How about you?
I agree. I think he pretty much nailed the first 3 rounds. It's after that it kind of goes downhill.
That I can definitely agree on.
Yeah, I like both Allen and Hilton. I know his ADP is right there, but Josh Jacobs in the 4th round, I can't get behind it. What do you think?
I hate the Josh Jacobs. I mean, say what you want, but he hasn't even signed his rookie contract yet. And from what I hear, it's because they can't agree to terms because Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, has zero money. He's bankrupt virtually.
What's it like to own I presume is an NFL team worth $1 billion
Right.
of assets,
Gotta be.
and not have enough money to pay your employees?
Right.
That's wild.
Well played. So
Are you really worried about that though? You really worried that Jacobs is not going to play because they don't have enough money to pay him?
I'm just saying there's a possibility he holds out a couple games, and with the guys that are coming after him, you could have gone like Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack with the Colts, I think he's going to have a great year, and his ADP is even later. So I like a proven thing.
To me, it's not even the idea of a holdout. Like I presume at some point they're going to get it sorted out before the season starts. But he's missing out on all of the off-season activities.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it Bosa his rookie year that the same thing happened where he didn't sign until really late in camp, and he came into camp late, and didn't he get an injury related to that holdout in that camp?
I don't know if it was related to the holdout, but
yeah, I thought it was a conditioning injury where he hadn't been training. I mean, he'd been training, but not football training. It also gives him a little bit late install on the offense. He's a rookie. He's just learning the offense, and he's got to set himself back in that regard. Not that there's a steep learning curve for running back, but certainly in the passing game, which is where a lot of his value comes from, he's going to be behind. So I don't know. He was a guy that I was pretty high on coming into the pre-draft process, and I didn't love the landing spot either. So no, I'm not. I'm not excited about that pick.
Yeah, the next pick either. I myself, I am not a big Chris Godwin guy. Just not a big Chris Godwin
I'm with
guy.
you.
I think again, there's other guys rated after him. You could go like Tyler Lockett is probably going to be the wide receiver one on his team. He's got great chemistry with his quarterback. He's one of the best deep ball route runners with one of the best deep ball throwing quarterbacks. So you have your big big play potential there. Plus, he is a fantastic route runner in his own regard. And I think just the continued chemistry between him and Russell Wilson will grow even more this year. So I think I take Tyler Lockett over Chris Godwin there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I was a big Godwin fan coming into the pre-draft process before his rookie year, but I don't know. He just hasn't. He hasn't proven it. He's what is he going into his third year now? So he had some flashes last year. He's showing potential, but I don't know. I usually like to see a little more growth between year one and year two than he's shown. Obviously, I love the situation. I love him being in Tampa with Jameis, who's I think is an ascending quarterback. Arians as the coach there, I think is going to help him out a lot. There's obviously a lot of potential for him, but I don't know. I think there were some other guys that I like better in that range as well. I know you like his next pick.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. It ruined my entire draft, or the tail end of my draft.
Let's
why I
skip
did
that
it.
back.
Yeah, I know you did. You have a horrible
that.
heart. You have no heart. It's just a black hole.
We agree that one was a good pick. And how do you about? People know how I feel about Henry. How do you feel about Henry?
I think that's a good pick too.
Yeah.
At that, like you said, that tight end range, Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry. Not a huge Njoku fan either myself, but I think if like dropping right there, getting Hunter Henry or Evan Ingram in that slot is good value.
Excellent pronunciation on Njoku, by the way. I'm not a huge fan of Cam Newton. This potential for bounce back, but I don't know. The shoulder injury scares me. How long did it take Luck to come back from his shoulder injury? I don't know enough about it to assess whether or not it's a similar injury or not. But throwing shoulder injuries for quarterbacks are not good things.
Yeah, I agree there. Plus, with like Matt Ryan available, I'm a big fan of Matt Ryan this year. You got Calvin Ridley in his second year, and he showed they have good chemistry with him. Julio Jones, obviously. He gets Devonta Freeman back this year, and just the continued growth of Austin Hooper. I think that offense for Matt Ryan is going to be really good this year. So I would have taken Ryan over Newton.
Same here. Well, that wraps it up. So it sounds like I get to go on the chopping block next.
Yes, you do.
You want to start, Sean?
Yeah, I'll start here. So I don't have all his picks in order. Actually, you go ahead because I don't have all his picks in order. So just go down the line and tell me who he's got.
All right. So started with Odell Beckham Jr. Feel like he could go anywhere from that 1.6 to like 1.9 range. I don't know. There's a couple of guys you can go there. I think I personally, there's a lot of wide receiver depth in this draft. I think I might go running back. Still grab somebody like I grabbed David Johnson at the end of the round, but I still think I might go grab him at 1.6.
Yeah, I guess I like the OBJ pick here because that's actually almost exactly where I picked him in a different draft. I think I got him at 107, 108 in a startup. So yeah, I'm on board with this pick.
My only problem with I don't have Beckham ranked as high. I have Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas both going before him. And if they're picked one of those guys will not be picked when 1.6 comes. So I think I pick one of those guys first.
Yeah, and I think they're all kind of in the same range. I think they're still OBJ.
Yeah.
And you don't really have the benefit of being able to wait till your next pick to see who's left because they're all gone in the next few picks. So you just got to take your guy, and I feel good about that.
Next pick was Todd Gurley, which I think middle of the second round, that's pretty good value for Todd Gurley. I know
Yeah.
he's got the knee injuries. It's kind of worrisome, but I I think people make a bigger deal about it than the team has, which leads me to believe that, yeah, they'll bring in another running back to take some of the load off, but you're still going to have Gurley being the dominant runner that he was.
Yeah, I think they spent decent draft capital on Darrell Henderson. I actually like the Gurley pick here. I just don't like the way he paired it with his other running back, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
All right, then it was Adam Thielen, which I think Thielen, especially considering he's going to be your wide receiver too, I think that's good value right there in the third round. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I was looking at Thielen a few picks earlier for between him and Ty, but yeah, I like Ty a little bit better.
Let's see, then after that, what was it? Cooper Cup?
Was it
Or
Cup
was it-
or did he
Was it Cup or
go?
Williams? Yeah,
Cup was
Cooper
next.
Kupp.
Yeah, and that's a
Which-
great spot for Cup.
Yep. I think he's shown great chemistry with Goff, and Goff obviously likes him as his number one when he's there. I feel like personally. Some might say
Yeah.
Cooks, but I think he loves throwing to Cup, especially being that slot receiver.
Yeah, and I think Cup as your number 3 receiver is like you're really happy with that. And
Yeah.
I think OBJ, Thielen, Cooper Cup, like the 3 of them together, that's a really solid group, and it's pretty high floor too. You
Yeah.
know, they're all target monsters.
Yep. Then went Damian Williams. Say what you'd like.
Yeah, and this one where I've taken Damian Williams in a couple leagues because he does tend to fall to this range or beyond. And I'm okay with that pick. I don't like pairing him with Gurley, though, because both of them have serious long-term questions. Like,
Yeah.
when I draft Damian Williams, I'm drafting Carlos Hyde. I'm drafting Darwin Thompson. I'm drafting every running back on the Chiefs roster because I don't know what they're going to do down the line. So I love the potential production for this year, but long-term, like, you're immediately searching for solutions next year at running back, and you don't want to be doing that when you invest a second round pick in a running back. You know, if you invest a second round pick in a running back, you better hope that at least one of your spots is stable.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Let's see. So then after that, what was it? Was it Russell Wilson next or Tyler Boyd?
Wilson,
Wilson.
then Boyd, then Njoku.
I like Russell Wilson. I think he's going to be probably in that QB 6, 7, 8 range. So I think grabbing him in the 6th, that's pretty good value. I personally, I normally wait on quarterbacks. This draft was a little different for me. I usually wait till get those guys like Matt Ryan and whatnot, but I'm okay with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I also tend to wait, as we saw in this. So I don't know. I'd rather have my picks where I took Henry Pettis than take Wilson Boyd. But I don't know. That's just me. Then the next 2 picks were Njoku and Tyler Boyd, and Boyd and then Njoku. And I really like Tyler Boyd at that spot. I think that really like solidifies the wide receivers. Like, his wide receivers are just going to be studs. But David Njoku, I think that was a bit of a rough pick, but at the same time, you know, it was the last pick of this mock draft, so I don't really mind it too much.
Yeah.
All right, on to Joey's team.
Bring it on, boys.
You want to go, Andrew?
Where do you start?
Do we even want to go in order, or we just want to trash everything?
That's fun. It's good talk, guys.
Is he able to request a redraft?
Man.
I actually don't mind his team that much.
Yeah, thanks. Gosh.
I love the Mike Evans pick. David Johnson at the end of the first is pretty good. Aaron Jones as your RB2. There's a little bit of question long-term what's going on there, but I really like him for this year still. Rodgers, bit of a reach, but I mean, like, he's a good quarterback, so it's tough. Edelman, I don't like as much as a fantasy asset as a lot of other people. I just don't see it as a wide receiver 2. As a wide receiver 3, I like it. Wide receiver 2 is pushing it a little bit for me. Robbie Anderson, I think, is just a really bad pick at that value. I thought I liked Robbie Anderson as like a value pick, but you just like blew the value away and just like took on. You just were like, screw it, I'm going for it, and you did. Ertz is great. I like Henry like 4 or 5 rounds later better than I like Ertz. I like Ertz more than Henry, but I like the value more. And then I like the David Montgomery pick. What round did you take Montgomery in?
5th.
Into the 5th.
Yeah, so like
It was the end of the 5th too.
Okay, but you took him in the 5th, and I took Jacobs at the end of the 4th, and you guys are complaining about my Jacobs pick, but you're good with Montgomery.
I like Montgomery at the end of the 5th a lot better than Jake's at the end of the 4th.
And I like the offense he's in a lot better too.
You like the Bears offense a lot more.
Mainly because of their defense. I feel like they'll be ahead in games more often than the Raiders will.
So if we're in a rookie draft right now, 101, you're taking Montgomery over Jacobs?
I think I am.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well,
what was look at the volume that Jordan Howard got last year. I don't think that Jordan Howard is as good of a player as Montgomery is.
you guys are great.
Do you think Jordan Howard's a better player than Montgomery?
No, my beef is not with Montgomery. It's with you guys undervaluing Josh Jacobs.
Okay, well, what was the running back touch distribution in Oakland last year? Did they have a bell cow?
No, because they didn't have a running back.
Well, I think Josh Jacobs is slightly overvalued too. I mean, he's never seen time as being a featured back, really. He's split time with Damian Harris. He's played behind
playing in Alabama.
Right, but so where do you get
Harris?
But do you lose that
in the 3rd round?
You lose that comfort seeing that he can carry a load like that, like for a full 16 season.
Because I watched this film and he's good, and he's going to a place where he's going to get carries, and they have nothing else.
So I'm not worried about the volume so much in terms of him being able to stand up to it. I'm worried about him getting it. I think Montgomery's a better spot to get volume. I think they're similarly skilled. I think Josh Jacobs is probably better in the receiving game. I think Montgomery's probably better in the run game. So, I think it comes down to volume. I think Montgomery's going to get the volume.
All right. Well, this has been the F3 podcast. Thanks a lot for listening today, guys. Check out our YouTube channel, IDP guys. We're pushing for 1,000 subscribers right now. You can find us on the web at dynastyfootballdigest.com and idpguys.org. For $1 a month, you can get a subscription that gives tools, rankings, combined offensive and defensive ADP. We, as I said before, we have that Slack chat for subscribers that gets you in with all the writers. We'll answer all the questions and stuff. You can find me at Laney1925 on Twitter. You guys want to give your Twitter handles?
Joey the Tooth IDP.
At DubsFans02.
Say it again.
At DubsFans02.
Make sure it's plural. Dubs fans. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Josh Jacobs forever.